Our question for this project is, how can ethics keep up with communication technology?
China has a firewall that blocks certain social media websites so that they can limit the information that the people of China see. More than 2,600 websites are blocked in the mainland of China. They made this firewall by blocking certain IP addresses that China didn't want people seeing. The computers deal with fiber optics. The first thing to know about how the internet works is the hardware. Machines that store information are called servers. Other elements are nodes, which serve a connecting point along a route of traffic. There are transmission lines, which can be physical, as in the case of cables and fiber optics, or they can be wireless signals from satellites, cell phones, 4G radios. Protocols are sets of rules that the machine has to follow to complete tasks. Each device that is connected to the internet has an IP address. This is how one machine can find another through a massive amount of machines. Hypertext transfer protocol is what we use to view websites through a browser. The computer communicates with a Wi-Fi box in a room or house. It does not communicate with the tower like cell phones. Once the computer connects to the Wi-Fi box sends waves to an Ethernet outlet or cables where the waves are made. So in China, if they do all these steps, they get on the internet cable and it works. But if there's a keyword, it will not work and block the page. In digital technology, the analog wave is sampled at one interval and then turned into numbers which are stored in a digital device. When the Wi-Fi box connects to the computer, the Wi-Fi box can read off the frequency. If it is a low frequency, the box will read a 0. If it is a high frequency, the box will read a 1. That is how the Great Firewall of China can block some frequencies. It would be able to tell because the numbers.
In China, they created the Golden Shield Project, which became known as the Great Firewall of China, which was a censorship and surveillance project which was monitored by the Ministry of Public Security Division of China's government. In the 1980s, Deng Xiaoping had a favorite saying, "If you open up a window for fresh air, you have to expect some flies to blow in." That saying is related to a period of economic reform of China that became known as the social market economy, which opened up the market for foreign investors. In 1994 is when the internet started in China, which then the firewall started. The Golden Shield Project has many positives to the world. The most beneficial positive is that it is very protective of your internet. Another positive is that you can also block all the bad and unneeded things on the internet. An example of a negative with this project would be how you cannot use social media or access news sites on the internet. If you had to use this project in the US, it would not work out very well because people couldn't live without social media.
China is bordered by Europe and the Pacific Ocean and has a record of not respecting people's human rights. China's government runs itself so that it keeps people out of the loop and makes it so they can't see the news that is broadcasted worldwide. China has a government that runs like ours and has a president that serves a 5-year term and can run for re-election. The president is selected by a board of 2,987 people. I think that China runs its government the way that they run it because if people started looking at the internet and saw how bad they were actually being treated, that they would try to revolt. And I think that that's what the firewall is doing. It's stopping China from revolting.
After watching this video, you can conclude that China has really good reasoning for having this firewall to protect themselves from the outside world and what they don't want them to see.